There we are. Ugh. It's gonna take a couple of seconds to really get back into it. It's been a rough week and some days. Ugh.
Tell me about it.
I mean, I could, but that's not really why people are here, or why you are here.
Well, quite on the contrary. Please tell me about it.
Nah.
Ah.
This really isn't the time and the space to talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I had kind of busy week myself.
I think I had too quiet a week. I got too stuck in my own head.
Oh, well, that's not good either.
I'm a creature built of envy and regret, so what recently happened strikes particularly hard.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
you're kobolds. You're in a little den burrow thing, in a snarl, as it's sometimes called. And
That is beautiful.
It's been a couple of days since your little excursion outside. You notice that the mood around you is generally a bit better? You don't get as many scowls as you used to.
Yeah.
But you hang out around the guards enough to know that something seems to be stirring off in the distance. As per usual, sometimes people don't come back, because kobold life's hard living. You're probably one of the weakest things underground, so unless you're a particularly sturdy type, even the safety of the mines is not as safe as it could be. You never know where you stumble into a place and suddenly get overrun by spiders.
Well, I have a piece of coal.
That you do.
Everything's going to be all right.
So it's been, you know, the usual type of quiet. What have you guys done in the meantime? Anything special, or have you just been living your lives?
Oh, pickpocketing.
Again.
Yup.
It's really what he does.
I have been pestering upon Ichki about my newly learned spell. I think it's delightful. I can now heal wounds by singing a little quieter. Just imagine that. Quiet singing? What is this?
Wow, that is
That's a lot of
Quite a
axolotl
new-
sketches.
a new thing for you.
A few wummies even cried one night when he realized that quiet singing is possible. How?
Putting all of
I
that.
mean, it doesn't even echo. This is so awful.
Yeah,
I just
everyone
realized that this accent sounds more like a Austrian German medicine man or something. Never mind.
Putting that aside, you do you ever like leave the burrow or the snarl just to go out into the tunnels much?
And I just began recording as well.
Do any of you have like particular affinities to leave the burrow from time to time?
Well,
I might have, but I've been busy
Purple
deciphering
has.
the book.
Well, then the most you happen to hear is from the occasional guard that there's something stirring on the southern front. Now,
oh,
you all know that to the south is the dwarven encampment, and their limited underground city. They've always been like a distance away that you've never had to worry too much about them coming close. But there is like a front line built like at the tunnels that lead there the fastest, as you would imagine.
yes, the beauty folk.
The what?
The beauty folk.
Yes, yes. The very hairy ones. Very contrary to yourself. And-
Yes, they often smell of booze.
Now the thing is that you are eventually called up because you are proficient enough that you are trusted with a task of sorts.
Yeah, so Woomies is basically has caught another tiny little koboldling and just opened his mouth to sing to him, and then a guard comes in, hey, you, with a Scream, you come with me. And the little kobold basically looks at the card and says, I'm indebted to you for life.
You are called forth to Captain Ozilp once more. It's in the quiet area of the guard station where all the little weapons are stored. And you see Ozilp over a map, which is uncommon, because kobolds don't usually have maps. It also doesn't seem to be written in Kobold.
Ooh.
But
Interesting.
it is a remarkably accurate map of some of the tunnels to the south.
This doesn't look ours.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Actually, a little question. During our very first adventure where we encountered the darkness, what direction was that?
That was somewhere off to
From
the
the
north.
brothers. Okay, so it's the opposite direction.
Which is also not a safe direction, because that's where the drow are at.
Hmm.
Oh, yes?
So,
Trout to the north, dwarves to the south.
there's humans to the east, and there's the haunted Black Claw into the west, so... There's not many directions you can go cardinally before you run into something.
Yeah.
I live in a sandwich! How nice!
I
Yep.
think it's more like a burrito, because it's from all sides.
Burrito.
I live in a
violence.
shawarma! That's even better!
Do I recognize the language on the map?
What languages do you speak, or would you be faintly familiar with?
Well, I know Draconic, Common, and Undercommon. I guess I could probably recognize at least Dwarfish, since we live nearby. I might have seen the written language occasionally.
The characters are written in a very straight and tight handwriting. The sketches
That's
themselves are remarkably made by the eye of an engineer, because there's a lot of stuff about how structurally integral certain tunnels are and such.
Out of character, that kind of writing seems like dwarf writing.
Mm-hmm.
You also don't recognize some of the tunnels. It seems to be a mishmash of the conventional tunnels and what you call. The best way to call it is there's a layer where water has seeped into the rock a lot, and there's all kinds of tiny miniature passages going all over the place that are just above where the proper undercommon starts.
Okay. There, aquifer layer.
And Ozil doesn't notice that you're in yet, so you're still standing in the doorway, sort of peeking over his shoulder. Well, not literally.
Roomies would like to sniff the air and figure out what's the smell in the area around Ozilp and in general.
Smells like kobold.
I'll peek over his
Roomies
shoulder.
smiles.
So
What you looking at?
he points his finger somewhere just to the north of the map. It's in an empty section that's not been filled out yet. And he just says, "This is where we are."
Oh. Well, not all, since that seems to be empty.
Mm-hmm. And then he points a bit lower to a small section where there's a big fat cross on the section where you're where you connect to the Dwarven tunnels. The Dwarven tunnels and your area are very much connected by only a single entrance. Well, at least in the normal tunnels, in the small watery aquifer caves, it's a bit more, there's a lot more passages, which generally are very difficult to go through, and it's very easy to drown or get stuck somewhere. But he kind of points at a section below where the map is drawn, and he says, "This is where our bottleneck is." Are you smart enough to see the problem?
Am I?
Is it
No,
our map?
well, I'm slightly more intelligent than your average kobold, so are they trying to tunnel around the bottleneck?
He so the captain sort of goes, not necessarily tunnel.
Oh?
It would be sufficient to just get rid of the bottleneck with a small strike force.
Okay.
So they
Is
want
it
to
our
take
map?
over and encroach on our territory. No, it's not our map. This is probably taken
But
from one
who
of
is
their
made this map?
patrols. Or stolen.
You found it
So,
on a dwarf stuck behind some, in some of the, you know, the watery pipes near tunnels near the water.
So we stole stuff from a drowned person.
Well, who knows what happened to him? Air's thick up there. Ah, yes, dwarves and aquifers. Ugh.
Vumis comes really close to the map and sniffs it.
It smells of beard oil. And also water. Stagnant water.
Vumis goes, yeah.
You usually don't steal anything from drowned people, or they will come to take it back.
So what do you think that I want you to do now that we know that they're planning this?
Eat the map?
Scout?
Either find the ways to block off these passages, or find a solution to this problem in any other way.
Kill all the dwarves?
Yeah, I don't think 3 kobolds at level 2 will be able to kill all the dwarves.
Use the map to kill all the dwarves? With this map? I can make a dagger out of this map.
Well, considering the last mission they said that was supposed to be a suicide mission.
So, he just kind of leans over and gives you all a pat in the back for, like, trying. These are dangerous tunnels. They're not gonna throw people at them forever. We just gotta make enough of them go away that it's not worth it.
Alright.
We've plugged most of the holes on our end anyway. We're too far away from the... it gets worse the further down you go, so it's like you can only really go so close until the tunnels get too small. We just need to buy some more time. Get rid of the ones that are out there.
Okay. So, dwarf hunting season then?
Yes, they're just little scouts, no problem for you. You're tough, and gives you a little nudge on the chest, like, you can do this.
Okay.
Can you give us some trap components? We could trap our way in after we go.
Ooh, yeah, that I also had that thought.
Trapping the watery caves, huh? Good forward thinking. And
Can you imagine you swim for a tunnel and there's a bear
If you
trap?
trap under the water, then they will certainly not go there. But if you trap before the water, they will have nowhere to retreat because there's water behind them, and that they will certainly track. Someone will need to go under the water and stick some sticks into it to make them sure to retreat.
Could be channel the water towards their holdings. Like a controlled explosion that opens a sufficient hole to let water rush towards them.
that's a very risky proposition, and we don't necessarily have the engineering intelligence to do that kind of stuff. The dwarves probably do, but...
Ah yes, steal explosives from the dwarves.
No, I mean the whole tunneling thing. We can make explosives, but using them without blowing ourselves up. That being said, the Red Claw Snarl is on a higher position, so the odds that water will flow up there isn't that large.
A fun idea.
But
If you can get
still,
it done.
traps.
Yes, yes,
I know
yes.
Abo is a great trap maker, and I'm a great bait.
Yes, I get it. So he takes you over to this is like before the armory. There's like the place where they keep all the little bits and bobs that they have that they can put in traps, be it for shrapnel purposes or like strings and trigger mechanisms. A lot of them pre-made. Most likely because when you need to replace traps, you kind of want to have the parts ready ahead of time. So he shows you to that, and he points at a couple of components, and he says, show what you can do.
Okay.
Which one of us has the highest score for that?
Don't remember which particular skill is responsible for traps.
You're all free to try.
Tool.
Well, Vumis would like to grab something that can be stuck to the watery, stony walls.
Underneath your skill listing is passive wisdom, and under that is your tools and professions.
Skill listing, passive
There's
tools,
tripology.
tools and profession. All right. My tripology is 1, and it depends on intelligence, so this is probably going to fail. Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, so the most practical one wins.
So, Ichiki actually manages to make like a half-decent trap that like actually gives off the impression of you paid attention in Kobold school.
Yes.
Um,
Nerd
Yeah,
power.
and he walks over and he picks up a big old bag, and he hands it to you. And this is essentially like a basic trap components bag. It's efficient to make a couple of pretty deadly things with, as well as your average like spikes you can put in particularly nasty hallways and such.
Meanwhile,
Too bad it's mostly solid rock. It would be neat to make some luck traps.
You're a Kobold, you can
spikes.
work around it.
We can dig it out.
meanwhile, Arpo constructs some kind of root Kobold machine that doesn't really do anything useful.
It just makes a lot of noise.
A lot of
We already
noise,
have the
lots of
screaming
moving
mushrooms
parts.
for that.
Also, Vumis would like to turn to the guard captain and ask, "Do you have any daggers? Special daggers? Good daggers?"
He looks at you and he knows that you have a bandolier with daggers. And he asks what you need more for.
Any daggers that can burn or freeze or make somebody have nightmares?
Make someone have nightmares?
I mean, Vumis doesn't know what he's saying. He just really loves daggers.
Well, they do have daggers, but they're not just going to give them to someone who already has daggers.
Yeah, let somebody else have daggers too. It's nice to share.
Odds are you can find some nice knives on some dwarves.
Oh, yes, thank you.
So, yeah, that happened. He doesn't give you what you want because he doesn't think you deserve it. But
That's all right.
with that, he kind of directs you to go down south through the tunnels.
Okay.
Well, in which case, without further ado,
He would hand you the map, but you know, he'd rather hold on to it just in case you don't make it back or something, or you get caught in water.
yeah. Can I copy it into a spare page at the back of the book?
You could try.
What I would
In the
require.
meantime, as we're heading there, Vumis would like to see if he can disguise himself as a dwarf. He kind of asks everybody who are the dwarves? How do they look? I know how the maps smell, but how do they look? Are they tasty? And basically using that patchy information said by other kobolds who really wanted to get as far from him as fast as possible, he's trying to disguise himself.
Combo roll me intelligence to see how your map turns out. It's a decent
Not
copy.
great.
It's a decent copy. It could be better, but it's sufficient that you could make your way around. Like you don't get the scale quite right, but you get the passages right at least.
This won't get lost. Thanks.
As for Vumis' attempt to discover what dwarves are like, most people really haven't seen a dwarf because most kobolds that see a dwarf tend not to come back. It's one of those last thing you see situations. Some of them do provide you with like a fake description of like, oh well, they're kind of if you put a human in like a press and you shrink them down a bit and put a beard on them. It's like you get some really gnarly descriptions.
Yeah, they. I hear they reek of alcohol. So.
At the very least, they're sizable, comparable
Like.
in shape to kobolds. How tall are
Yes.
dwarves, Seffi?
Hmm?
How tall are dwarves?
They're actually
in
medium
D&D?
sized, so I think they're like 5 feet or something.
So they're taller than that.
They are taller than kobolds, yes.
We'll have to cut them down in size.
So anyway, Woomies finds himself a mock beard and puts it on.
Where do you think you're going to find a fake beard in a kobold snarl?
Made it out of dirt, of course.
Take any small furred animal and just glue it to his face.
The whole animal.
Yes.
Yep, the whole animal.
A
Just a rat tail
squirrel.
sticking out.
I mean, yes.
Alright,
It's
alright.
also a good snack if I need it.
You thinking?
Roll me deception to see how passable you managed to make your quick improv custom.
Only deception to see how much you can deceive a dwarf with that rat glued to your face. And of course, it's a 20.
Considering the circumstances, it's a pretty gosh darn convincing disguise. Like, at a distance, a dwarf might fall for it.
Oh dear. How does it even work?
Like I said, at a distance, it kind of works, but once you get too close, they'll probably notice the scales. And the little tail.
It's a skin condition. Also, where did
Sorry.
you go?
Heck.
I'm sorry.
Anyway. You want to make any other further preparations before you go?
Yeah, I think we're all set. What kind of spells did they find in the other book, by the way? Or is it more like a surprise kind of thing?
I already told you what was in it, right?
I don't think so.
I thought I did, but I guess not. Oh gosh, I need to look through all this stuff. Yeah, already.
It's fine, I can flip through it as we go, so.
No, wait, that's still from the Pact. That's another spellbook, I guess.
Mhm.
Nope, it's either. Okay, I'll have to make another one then.
That's
But,
okay.
yeah, you can't copy it anyway. It's pretty expensive to do so. And you don't
Yeah,
have
I'm not
fucking
going to be
materials.
copying from it, I'm going to be copying into it. From my...
Oh, yeah.
So, that will be half the time, half the price, but it'll still take the time and money, and I can't afford even cantrips right now.
Anyway,
Vumes would like to actually act as a scout. He basically sneaks. He asks everybody to go slower, and he always kind of carefully sneaks there and back again, using his sneaking and his beard.
Makes sense,
that,
yes.
that doesn't have to happen for a good portion, at least unless you feel particularly suspect. Because the first stretch, like until you reach the actual barricades that lead to the dwarven area, you're pretty much in still kobold territory.
Well, yes, it's after the barricades.
So you approach the barricades and you see the usual, like, these are the tough veteran kobolds, like the ones with big muscles that stand tall.
Do they mistake me for a dwarf from the distance as well?
Let me see if they're actually clever enough to see through your beautiful disguise.
Because if not, I mean, if yes, then it will be brilliant.
No, they're actually sharp enough to notice the tail before.
Oh, come on.
They're paying attention. They're not that dumb. But they do greet you, and they give you the quick warning that there's a lot of dwarven scouts down south. So if you're thinking on going for a walk, you might want to go the other way.
Yep,
That's okay. We're on a mission.
we'll scout them right back.
Well, that's up to you.
Mm.
Like, they don't stop anyone from going, so just don't trigger any traps.
Well, as long as they don't accidentally mistake us for dwarves.
Yeah, you might want to have someone else up front when you go back. But, as you head down south, you leave the area where the stone is nicely carved. Like, this is more natural stone, more rough tumble.
Yeah, that's the right sound.
You know that it's about this, like, this is at the halfway point. This forward camp. There's like tents and stuff and all kinds of barricades and ways to make sure that a siege would be very difficult. Primarily because it would be a very weird showdown because it's very one-sided, which is why the dwarves are trying to get around it. The point is that as you go further down, you start to see rope ladders and all that going up the walls, looking for passages, signs of mining, in the form of scratches on the wall and pickaxes. Like you're not that far. Like you turned the first corner and this is already happening.
So the moment we're out of sight, they've already started their work.
Odds are they probably heard the pickaxes before they saw the dwarves.
Is there any current activity in the vicinity?
Not that you notice.
So Vumis, as he scouts this, he tries to make it look like he basically tries to tear down all the rope ladders and make it look like they're scratched down by a really tiny but impressive dragon. So he makes scratches with one of his worst daggers on the walls. Makes it look like the rope's weapon chewed down. Which isn't hard from here, really.
At the very least, we should cut and collect them. It's more resources for us and less for them.
Well, he cuts, everybody else collects.
Yeah. We'll just pile them here and pick them up on the way out.
Yeah, let's pull down some rope ladders.
They can actually be used as a makeshift trap nets. Basically, if you throw out a rope ladder and it opens up well enough, it might act as a net.
The rope ladder it's like in total it's like 80 feet of rope ladders. If you were to tie them all together, that is. You also find like 2 pickaxes, some cartography tools in the form of rolls of parchment, and some pens and inkwells.
Vumis stashes a roll of parchment and an inkwell with himself.
Ba-da-ba-ba, you got
Actually, what?
You got it.
What? Oh, thank you. Do I add it into my inventory or something?
I'll plop it in for you.
Yes, thank you. Actually, how sturdy is the inkwell glass?
It's a pretty sturdy inkwell. It's clearly meant for like being in cavern conditions and the possibility of falling on your butt.
Yeah.
Alright, so I basically got myself a distraction stone or a way to smack somebody in the forehead. Thank you.
To be fair, glass hitting the ground would generally drag attention anyway.
Especially in the
That's the
cavern.
intention.
Moving on.
So
So
do we
Vumis
detect,
sneaks ahead.
do we detect any sounds of mining or anything really?
Give me a perception check.
Anything dwarfish nature?
It's quiet enough that you get the feeling that it might be lunchtime for the dwarves or something.
Oh.
Lunchtime.
So they're weak.
Are they British? Do they drink tea at 5 o'clock? So basically we can advance on the weekends and during 5 o'clock tea parties. And meet no
Problem is
resistance whatsoever.
The problem is we don't know the time.
We can
Yeah.
steal a chronometer from them.
The passageway splits to the left and to the right.
Where do we hear the sounds from?
No. Or no sounds.
Yeah.
From which branch do we hear no sounds?
Well, I would like to use the firebolt cantrip to just generate a small flame to see where the draft is going.
The draft. So the draft seems to be most strong on the right passage.
In which case, we should probably head there.
Okay then. Right it is.
You head down the right, winding passage. You see on the ground, like, there's trails of... It's sort of trails of dust. Like, it's sort of been swept to the sides for the most part. Eventually, you reach an intersection.
Again?
Yeah, this one splits off into 4 directions. You can hear distinct noises coming from the passage directly opposite of where you came from.
Okay then, I'll at least sneak ahead.
You have
Yeah,
a piece of
roomies?
coal, right?
Yeah, yes.
Can you make a marking on the wall to indicate the passage we came from?
I suppose I could. I make a small marking on the wall.
You are now
piece of
aware of
coal.
where you came from.
Being very careful
When
with
Mommy
my
and Daddy
coal.
Kobold love each other very much.
So, who goes down where?
We
Well-
all go down the same passage.
Which is south?
Yeah, where the noise is coming from.
Yes,
Sneakily.
Roll me
Yes.
stealth.
certainly.
Fine.
Gomu, don't disappoint this group.
Yarpo.
I'm trying, I'm holding my fingers crossed.
Good enough. Because eventually you start to notice lights in the distance. The cavern also opens up wide at this point. There's some stalagmites you can hide behind, as you hear the chitter and chatter of dwarves. In Dwarven.
Mm,
None of us understand it as far as I can tell. Unless,
Vumis would like to remember, basically, remember the pronunciation in order to try and imitate them later on.
mm. Will
Roll me a
the-
deception check.
Certainly.
You could fool a common dwarf, like someone with particularly keen ears might pick up, but most people would probably fall for that impression.
Good, good.
Actually, does Undercommon have any kind of dwarfish influences in it?
Not really. The dwarves don't like hanging out with things that know Undercommon, because Undercommon is like the language of mind flayers and really evil things that live down here. Drow speak it as
Right.
well, so they speak it, but they don't like it, so they don't contribute to it too much.
Right.
There's a small
was just
table next to
thinking-
your next to the stalagmites you're hiding behind.
Vumis would like to sneak a little bit to the side, and he knows that his voice echoes nicely in the caves. He knows how the caves carry his echo of the voice, so he'd like to create a little distraction behind all the dwarves.
Where would that be? Away from yourselves, or?
Yes, away from myself, behind them, basically in. So, the dwarves are currently having a lunch, right?
They just seem to be talking.
Okay, so
they're probably eating by the looks of it.
are there any sentries?
There are some sentries, and they're not paying too much attention, considering that you're right near a passage that goes up. There might be more elsewhere nearby.
And what's on the table?
I first want that deception check from. Okay, there we go. 13.
Yes.
Well,
Well, that was to learn how to imitate the
okay.
language.
Then just roll a deception for the noise.
Yes, so I'd like to create a noise away from them, just to make them turn away from us. Maybe even start asking, "Hey, who said it? You said it? No, you said it."
You create a very convincing grunt that sounds like a very very posh dwarf, and everyone just kind of looks over to the east end of the cave, which is away from you.
And Rumi basically waves to Arbo and Ichiki.
Well,
Gives
I'll,
them a thumbs up.
yeah, I'll sneak towards the table and try to. Is there something on the table?
There are plenty of things on the table.
Documents or some such would be very important.
However, most of it's written in Dwarven. There is one thing that catches your eye, which actually has some Kobold written on it, like some Draconic.
Oh,
There's two
Well,
little books. Do you speak Undercommon?
I do.
Do you actually know what both books say? These two books seem to be translation books because they feature half Dwarven and half Draconic and Undercommon languages.
Oh, I'll sneak
Like
over the table and scoop them all up.
There's also some documents which are accompanied by small maps. These are much more general maps. They're just like, this is where a passage goes, and this is where we've already been. Clearly used so that people that are going out can organize themselves before they go.
Is there anything pertaining to the Kobold checkpoint?
The general map does feature the Kobold checkpoint, and is like, don't go beyond here. Just to... Yeah, it's got a big, like, skull mark next to it.
How effective would sleep be on the dwarves?
There's a couple of them. It's like at least 6 of them.
At least 6 of them. So, and there is a source of light somewhere.
Yeah, there's some
imagine.
candles and lanterns scattered around.
Okay, so firstly, I would like to cast sleep right in the middle of the dwarves. Would they realize it's unnatural?
You cast the
Okay,
spell.
so first of all, I'd like to imitate a hiss of gas from somewhere behind them.
Deception?
Certainly. Can I re-roll it, please?
It sounds more like a fart.
Well, okay. And after that, I'd like to cast sleep in the middle of them.
Go ahead.
So I can
5d8.
show.
5d8.
Yeah, roll for the HP you get to effect. Like I'm not. This is not impossible, but it is a bit of a high roll you're gonna have to make.
Can he cast it twice? Wow.
Oh, wow, that is Okay. So the dwarves that are standing in the center, that are standing under like a small tent. Heaven knows why they have that. Probably just in case something decides to drip down and ruin any of their paperwork. The 5 of them standing inside there all fall asleep, and the sentry that's like patrolling around is like, what the hell? Who farted?
Someone farted so hard they fell asleep. And then Vumis basically whispers to the other guys, "Take out the light."
I would like to point out one important thing, however, is about the sleep spell. That's
Yes?
kind of important. If I'm correct, the sleep spell contains verbal components, which means that you have to shout, or have to at least make sufficient
Oh.
noise that someone will hear you.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's
Let me double check that real quick.
That I wasn't informed of that before, but that doesn't prevent it. But I can.
So there's a sound of fart and a koboldish lullaby.
Okay, just a second. So that is verbal, right?
Yes.
Can I make those verbal components sound like dwarvish?
Give me an Arcana check, because you're trying to do something
Oh, dear.
particularly magically difficult.
Arcana.
How far?
What do you know?
How far away are we from the dwarves?
They're a good distance away. Like at least 30
A good
feet.
distance away. Well, the thing is, there has been a similar question, like brought up. It will ruin hiding, but it's not going to if there is a considerable distance between the
What is it
caster
called?
and the target.
Can you link to it somewhere?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Alright.
so
And this wasn't about sleep, but it does cover some of the cover this topic.
I guess the whole metamagic stuff that silences your spells will be or when you want to cast spells while hidden.
But in any case, I'd like to make that sound like Dwarvish, and I rolled a 17.
It's convincing enough. Yeah, you managed to cast a spell despite basically sort of fumbling the components around a bit. It's like you're trying to fool magic itself, really.
So,
Which is what Woomies usually does.
So the dwarf sentry is like none the wiser. Like he's just confused over what the situation is.
okay, so Wumi's
And
cast
I still kind of point at the light for the rest of my team and basically go,
Take it out. Take out the light.
I'll shoot the light with my crossbow.
I want to
You
give
don't-
you two quick bits of information before you decide to do this. One, dwarves have dark vision, and two,
Yeah.
probably more importantly, some of them are candles, some of them are lanterns. Like there's multiple light sources.
Okay, so slight change of plan.
does Boomies know that?
I have the fog cloud again.
I
I
will
would
take
imagine I will be able to put out some of the lights at least.
I'll take out his lights with a crossbow bolt.
Go ahead, roll me an attack. if that's your plan.
Oh!
Bonk.
Nice.
Okay, that was actually enough to conk out the sentry. Or at least sufficient that whatever remains of the sleep spell sort of soaks into him. He's on the ground is the point.
All right. Well, this is a good start. Good
Don't
work,
forget to
Wood.
pick it up so that it looks natural.
That giant bump on his head under like his helmet, it's nothing. Don't worry.
Mhm.
Yeah, he just wanted to sleep so hard he hit himself in the head. That's happened to dwarves all the time. That's the reason why that's because they all work so hard. Yes,
that
I'm a
it's all
true
that
natural
alcohol.
dwarf. Yes,
Okay.
don't pay attention to the rat on my beard. It's natural. I'm a expert dwarf.
Okay. About the table with the books and the maps.
Yes.
I'll swipe the books and try to make some changes to the maps.
What are you trying
make
to do?
Them, I'll try to lead them astray by making the maps completely inaccurate.
Profession minor to draw a convincing cave tunnel map.
Okie dokie.
What do you know?
Well, you did a pretty good job. Like, they'll probably buy it until they realize how wrong it is. Which is gonna happen at some point. Dwarves are pretty good at that stuff. But yeah, you look at it like, hey, this could have been the map before you started doing stuff with it, so.
Hmm. And what were the books? It's just translation books.
They're if you could leaf through them quickly, you'll just find it's like awesome basic terms and such. It's sufficient that you could translate a basic text.
How many were there?
2, 1 of each.
Okay.
I
That's smart.
suggest, yes, out of character, I suggest we basically upon each key take one each.
That sounds fair. Okay.
If they are running together at the table right now.
Okay. Which one do you want? Want each key?
I'll take whichever's loud because I've been picking up stuff last time.
This key doesn't even know Undercommon, though, so you can't use that one.
Yeah.
I
Still,
mean, we can bring it
Dragon
back.
Rock, greedy, so even if I don't understand the item, I would probably want to have one.
Okay. So, what were the translation books about?
Undercommon to Dwarven and back, and Draconic to Dwarven and back.
Okay, I gave each key the one with the dragon to Dwarven. I'll take Undercommon.
Awesome. Would it technically work both ways?
Yeah.
So at
It's
the very least-
it's a good translation book. It has like a section where it flips the sides around.
Well, as long as we don't try to communicate through the book and say something stupid.
The book even has a nice phonetic guide.
Oh, so we can be fanatics. That's going to be nice if we ever have to infiltrate a code.
Fanatic and fanatic are different things.
But you just pronounced it the same.
No.
I would like to point out that we have a minute
I'm sorry.
until the kobolds start, until the dwarves start to wake up.
Oh.
How
How long does sleep last again?
A minute.
Oh,
Is there,
heck.
is there any rope around?
But yeah, there's like some rope ladders you could use.
What, you gonna tie them up or something?
Well... Oh, should we just slit their throats? Like,
Well, that would... Look. My 2 cents on this is if we provoke them, they might actually mount an expedition that will probably be a lot of trouble.
wait, better
You know,
be...
stealing...
To look, yeah, we need to make it look natural.
You can't make a slit throat look natural. The thing is, the kobold tribes that attack neighboring settlements and such get adventurers and, you know, crowds of people with torches and pitchforks. But other tribes that don't do that don't usually get it. It's like natural selection.
Well, yeah, but were we sent here to deal with the dwarves?
Specifically, make sure the scouts are, you know, because
Okay,
as
so
I
we
said,
don't have to
it's
kill them.
it's entirely expected that
we
some
don't-
scouts just don't come back.
Okay, so we don't have to kill them. We just have to scare them away, sorta. Make sure it's unfavorable for them to continue with this endeavor.
Indeed.
What we could do is, if you really want to kill them, is to bring them over closer to the checkpoint and kill them there to send a message
Or drown them.
or drown them.
Right, well, while this chat has been going, I've been tying them up, just in case.
So all the dwarves in the vicinity are unconscious for now.
For a bit.
Oh
Have a
yeah,
little bit of
and
fun.
also gagging them. Gagging and blindfolding them, if at all possible.
You can
Yes,
find some
and
materials for
Vumi's. Yes, well, Vumi's basically uses this list of parchment drenched in ink to improve those blinds and gags.
that. Excellent.
Do I roll for that?
Nope. It's
Oh.
easy said and done.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, there's no rope use skill.
Not anymore.
You don't need to roll for things that are relatively simple to do. Like you don't need to roll for making a step. Or
I mean,
tying
Roll me
I-
somebody
athletics
up.
for taking a
heard-
step.
Yes,
And
I
do that for
heard.
every
I
step.
heard Sapphire. I heard Sapphire say excellence, and I thought it's a skill of some kind.
No. Excellence is a condition.
Oh,
Anyway,
so
considering that this takes
so
some
yes,
time,
yes,
the dwarves do it.
and yes, all this time basically, Vumis imitates dwarves grunting around like basically, and then makes stamping noises on the ground. It basically makes it like all around the place, dwarves are constantly dropping unconscious.
What?
Just to confuse the dwarves if they do awaken.
Okay.
He just really likes that he basically shouts it and Echo repeats it basically. That's delightful. I need to try it again.
Don't forget that there's a passage going up, right?
Oh,
Like if
Okay,
you make too much
so-
noise, you might alert whoever's up there.
Okay, so we tie up the dwarves and pile them up in a corner.
You now have a pile of dwarves in the corner.
Pile of snoring dwarves. And
If we had
Yeah,
a bag
I
of
mean-
holding, we could put them in there.
oh yeah, take their stuff.
Take their stuff.
that would be thematic, but I'm afraid that will entail a failure for this particular mission.
I mean, if we humiliate them, this will probably be better than just murdering them.
Vomis wants to scout out for anything else that smells like that mat that he smelled.
What did he smell?
I believe you said it smelled of beard oil and beer.
Well, the smell comes from above. There's a strong smell of that over there.
Hmm.
Okay, so there's no beer over here.
Probably not. No drinking on the job, I guess.
Oh, that would be weird.
But yes, they got a. So on the center table, on the little tent, is a big map, which is quite expansive and seems to detail the dwarven city as well. There's also some writing tools. There's stuff on them. It's just like some basic equipment, like armor, weapons, some rations over there, some water over there.
Okay, well, take their weapons away, at least.
Well, they're tied up, so
Well,
Vumis has an
both.
idea. He kind of prods Abo and says, Abo, please, they make it look, draw on a map, make it look like they have rebels.
What?
Make it look like dwarves have rebels.
That?
Make it look like they want to attack themselves
okay.
on the map.
Okay. I don't. I don't really, understand dwarfish, so that could be
But you
slightly.
just drew on that map and it's good.
Well, yeah, that was just drawing about the.
But I mean, it's the same, right? I mean, I could imitate their noises. You could imitate their writings.
Yeah, well, there's imitating writing, and then there's making it look believable.
It's the same, right?
Uh,
Fumi's basically does the puppy dog eyes on Abo.
not really.
You can let him try. Exactly, yes.
But
Okay.
Abo, you are so cool. Are you really going to break poor Vumi's heart?
Okay, fine. I'll try to make some kind of map of, so, is there any kind of map or anything of the dwarven settlement?
like I said, the map actually details the dwarven city.
Okay, can I make some kind of internal invasion plan?
If we're keeping
You
it
can
here,
use the translation book. You can use the translation book.
It
if we're keeping
doesn't
it,
have to be a good one, just kind of like indication that there will be some kind of rebellious activity going on.
Okay.
if we're gonna keep this map here, if we're gonna leave it here, can I at least
Yes,
try
yes.
to copy it before we
Well-
screw it up?
Roll me intelligence.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to need a. What am I going to need for this? Instead, roll
Yes,
me.
Vumi's in the meantime stands facing the dwarves with his beard aflutter.
Roll me deception, and also roll me an intelligence check. Combo, you make a good map. The person that's messing with the map, I mean, has to roll deception and.
Okay, can I use my Tides of Chaos to give me an advantage on the deception?
You're what?
My Tides of Chaos ability.
Tides of Chaos?
Yeah. Starting at first level, you can manipulate the forces of chance and chaos to gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check, or saving throw. Does it apply to skills? I don't know.
Sure.
Alright, I'll make that deception with advantage.
Okay. And I'm also going to need.
And I'm going to use my inspiration on the intelligence roll to give me advantage on the intelligence roll.
Well, you actually, for someone who's never ever read Dwarvish or done anything with it, you managed to become quite at home within the little book. You sniff out some pages, find some proper stuff, and you manage to put together something that looks like a convincing battle plan.
Yes, with some slogans like "Down with the king" or whatever they have.
Just put down a generic down with the leader.
Yes.
Yes. And then you, yes, and Vumis carefully drips some ink on hands of some of the dwarves knocked out.
Down with
mean,
the manager.
This would have been so much easier if we were just a couple levels higher, because we do have a suggestion spell. Could have told them to
yes.
stage an invasion on themselves.
Or to make just to make them have thoughts, to make one of them doubt themselves, and that would that would snowball further.
Jesus. What a plan.
Yes, and yes, and as they do, basically prompt Ichki and go, Ichki, can you please make it darker in here? If they wake up, we don't want them to see us.
Darker.
I'm fairly sure they have similar kind of vision as we do.
No, I mean,
I walk
you made
around.
that. Yes, you made that smoke. That's good, right?
Smoke?
I'm gonna walk around and blow out the candles.
They're all out now.
That would be. Yeah, so
I didn't-
Vumi, well, yes, so Arpo edits the map, Ichiki copies the map, while Vumi's basically carefully runs around blowing out the candles.
Oh yeah. Let's make some copies of the fake invasion plan to spread around.
What? How are we gonna spread it around? It's not going to be effective spreading it around among the kobolds.
Well, we can go ahead and just kind of.
We can go ahead and
Well-
pretend to be dwarves from a different city and just settle in the dwarven city and start a coup. Overthrow the sovereign dwarvish government of the city and declare sovereignty, and then I don't even know
Seize-
where to go from
Yes,
there.
seize the means of production, of course.
Yes,
Yes.
it's gonna be. We're gonna name Vumi's persona as a Lenin or something like that.
Down with the regional manager.
Lenins! I'd like
Our
to
is gonna be
sound that.
Trotsky. The pen.
My goodness.
Yes.
What a plan.
What a plan.
Lenins! I like the sound of that.
Shave the beards. Acquire the beards from the gnomes, from the dwarves, for future concealment purposes.
So while the rest of the team are working on a map, Rumi's just blowing out the candles,
Yes.
dropping ink on people on dwarves' fingers,
But yeah,
stealing
like,
their supplies.
if you're
Like
going
he steals a candle, a flint and steel if he can find it. Basically, makes it look like one of the dwarves, like a dwarf just came in, snatched some supplies, added out and ran away.
Arpo, you were saying?
yeah, it's just going to make a few copies of the fake invasion plan. If we go further into the dwarven territory, we can drop the maps around to make the rebelling idea seem more
That's
believable.
way
That
too
might
complicated.
take
that it
more time than we have.
Well, I made one map. I can make quick copies of it.
I mean, you're free to do so if you wish, but you don't know how long you have until someone decides to check up on this place.
Well, I make a copy then. So we have two fake invasion plans.
You do now have a second fake invasion plan.
So, do we just leave these guys here?
Wait, yes. Also, Vumis would like to basically unbind the guys with the who have their hands in ink. everybody else, that's like 2 dwarves. The rest of the dwarves he's going to leave bound and gagged.
What's the rest doing?
Well, since I have my map, I'll continue scouting ahead.
So you unbound some of them, didn't you?
That is not a very good idea. Bomies.
Well, I said it, so.
I mean,
But I left in the gags.
What?
so where are you scouting ahead to, Arpo?
You said there was a tunnel leading further in or something?
There's a tunnel leading up, which is most likely going to go deeper in to their place.
Yep, tunnel up.
As you go up to the tunnel up, the dwarf that you have just decided to unbound, deciding not to collaborate with your friends ahead of time, immediately reaches for his gag and tears it off. Arpo is around halfway up the stairs when he suddenly hears something shouted in Dwarvish.
That's probably not good.
It came from downstairs.
Yeah, that sounds like a good name for a horror movie. We should probably really run.
You're under no obligation to stick around for your buddies.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to leave them to die.
So,
Ideally. I will!
what are you gonna
if
do?
I have to.
Because you don't have much time before this guy is gonna start tearing off his blindfold and get aggressive. Or someone else might
Yeah.
come from above.
Yeah, well, we should probably really run. Will we have time to set up a trap or something?
No.
There we go. We have to run. We do have a copy of the map. So, achievement complete.
Oh yeah, and I left one of the fake invasion plans on the table there.
And I've planted the evidence on the dwarves to sow the seeds of doubt.
Considering that this dwarf can most likely see A, you, and B, at least Arpo. Yeah.
Okay, so when I hear the shout, I quickly turn around and aim my crossbow at the source of it.
Roll me an attack roll.
God damn it. Donk.
Considering that this guy is unable to, like, react, and has, like, not a shield out or anything, you thunk him on the head again.
They're surprisingly thick-skulled.
He seems okay, but he's also, like, very quiet for a moment as he rubs his forehead.
Does this dwarf has a weapon of some kind?
No, the weapons were taken away.
Any
brought
other?
them away.
Okay, what weapons did the dwarves have?
You know, the typical stuff, warhammers. They also had some spears for, like, the cave encounters.
I believe I swapped my quarterstaff for a spear last time.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to edit my. I'm sorry. I used this. Okay, I'm going to edit my quarterstaff into a spear. I assume it's the same stats. Except it's. No, it's not the same stats.
Come on, who's that blue boy?
I found him.
He's awesome.
Somebody made
So
a
yes.
little, like, tabletop thingy.
Yeah. So yes. So basically, I'd like to use my spear to stab the guy in the throat.
Well, what a roll you made.
Well, that will silence him.
Yeah, he's silenced in the way that he's dead.
Yes, and then I take away one of their spears as well as my spear.
Okay. So, Arpo, you're standing on you're at like the bottom of the staircase by this point.
Okay, well, the noise has stopped, so I'll continue scouting ahead.
You go up.
Yes.
Just because the noise stopped doesn't mean that they didn't hear it.
So, Apo, Ichiki, what are you going to do?
stand guard, and at the very least complete our mission if you guys die.
And what about Abo? What is he going to to think of this?
Well, I don't know what you two are doing, since I am currently looking in the completely different direction.
Yeah, but still, so there was a noise. It then suddenly stopped with what I assume is a shanking sound.
Hmm? Well, I assume you handled the situation.
I would, yes, I would like to. I would like to throw a sound. Well, basically, I would like to try and echo my sound so that it would reach Apo using a single word: back.
What?
Bag?
Back, like go back. But yes, it might be misheard.
You're not obliged to listen to me, you know.
Nope, I am not.
As you go up the stairs, you eventually reach a nicely carved, like stone room with a big heavy door.
Oh, there's a door. Okay. Does the door have like an thing you peek through?
It's
There's
called
like
a
some
keyhole?
arrow slits, like ways to attack attackers through the door on the sides.
Oh,
Right. Can I see any movement beyond the door?
You see around 3 dwarves, and they're discussing with each other. You don't quite know what they're saying, because you don't understand them. But they seem to be organizing something.
Okay. I whip out my translation book and try to figure out what they're saying.
The book is a translation.
This is going to be hard, and I say this as a translator.
Yeah, the big problem is you got a book, not like words. So the things they are saying you can't fully understand. You have to look the phonetic guide, and it's really hard.
Yeah, you're going to understand 1/11th of what they're saying at most with this particular way of doing this.
Well, better than nothing. All I know is I have a book with words, and they are saying those words.
Roll me an intelligence check. Yeah, you have no clue what they're saying.
Oh dear, yes.
Okay. Well,
It might be a good idea to plant the copy of the rebellious map somewhere on them.
kind of difficult since they.
But you don't hear Rumi's.
Ah.
I mean,
Right.
you don't hear what he thinks about it. You're on your own.
Okay, so I drop a fake invasion plan on the tunnel floor, like somewhere where if they come through the door, they'll easily see the paper.
And so you do.
And then I go back.
What a plan. Going back. So you plant the map and you start stepping down the middle staircase again. It's a nice spiral staircase too.
Oh. Wow. Okay, it's a. Do I have any kind of grease or something that I could use on the stairs?
Do you? You don't even have the bag of trap components, so.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I go back down, fetch a lantern, and then go back up and put the oil from the lantern on the steps.
It takes a bit of time, and by the time you're done, you start to hear the door open.
Ooh.
You've coated like a good half of the steps in this stuff.
Okay.
What is everyone else doing during this time?
I'm just standing guard
Rumi's
on.
would like to, Vumis would like
Yes,
to
I-
hide.
On the captured dwarves.
So, where exactly are you, Como? Are you near any of the entrances or exits, or do you just hide in the center, near the table?
At near the table, yes. Keeping an eye on dudes in the corner.
I need a perception check from everyone.
No.
Como, you notice a dwarf, lightly armored, approaching right up behind Vomis. And he's holds a big warhammer right high.
Yeah. One moment. Do they have do dwarves generally have a high wisdom?
I don't know. Why?
I'm just deciding on whether or not to use the fear spell or an actual damaging spell.
It's your call.
Something to stun him, preferably.
Yeah, well, let's see what failed wisdom save does. Yeah, it's just complete negation. Well, let's try it. Cause fear spell. And I cast it at level 1.
Let's take a look.
It's verbal and somatic, and it doesn't require anything, but basically I make them very scared.
What is
of
your
their own
save?
Belmore
mentality.
dropped out.
My spell DC is 15, spell attack bonus is 5.
He is scared now.
Does
Should
he
be.
stop?
He drops his warhammer.
Okay.
That probably
Do
makes quite a ruckus.
Does Vumis hear that?
Yes.
I turn and face the dwarf, my beard and all.
He's still scared.
Me? I'm scared.
No, the guy that you're looking at.
I make a dwarf grunt, and I bite him on the nose.
Oh my god.
This guy's really confused. And he also
Okay,
is
so-
hurting.
What happened? My
Yeah, so
Good.
a guy was encroaching on Vumis. Ichki just made him really scared. Then that guy dropped the hammer. Vumis turned around, made a dwarf ground, and bit the guy in the nose.
Huh.
Yeah.
Also,
Alright
I'd
then.
like to reach for the inkwell and splash some into his eyes.
Oh, did my oil do anything?
I need a dexterity saving throw from Fumis, and then we'll get to the dwarves running down the stairs.
Cool.
Click-clack-click. Fumis, your dexterity saving throw, please.
Me?
Yes.
Dexterity.
It's essentially
saving
a
throw.
dexterity with proficiency that I want, and saving throws are good for that.
I'm just going to click on dexterity.
Yeah, you splash him right in the eyes. He's blinded, and it hurts.
Yeah.
And he falls over screaming, unsure which direction to run from the thing that made him spooked.
As he opens his mouth, I'd like to stuff the inkwell into the mouth.
That will be your next action, because first, some dwarves
Yes.
come running down the staircase. They got some heavy-looking crossbows, and they instantly aim their crossbows at all of you. But before they can fire it, they hit the stairs. Oh no! Oh no! And they'll tumble down.
Yes.
Tumble and fall.
Brilliant.
So now there's a whole bunch of dwarves at the bottom of the spiral staircase. And another one is next to Fumi's blinded and not in the best condition. The dwarves that are tied up are squirming. They're like, what's going on?
I'm sorry, I'll get the phone call. I need to pick this.
Okay. Take your time, take your time.
Out of character, we all need to run now.
So, what's the situation right now? We have one very, very confused dwarf who is blinded and full of fear, kind of tumbling around.
Another dwarf has been stabbed with a spear to death in the throat.
Yep, that's one of the in the pile.
Yes, I got another spear to make it look like somebody stole the spear.
Yep.
And then I'm going to steal the spear so that when I make like somebody stole the spear, it would be true.
Right. And how many dwarves tumbled down the stairs?
All 3 of them.
All right, there's a pile of 3 dwarves there. So, what do you think?
Hello.
Fight or flight?
No, I run.
Those telemarketers.
I also... How many more spell levels do I get for the sleep spell? Let me just
How
look at my
many
other
do you have
spells.
total is the real question here.
Okay, charm person. I'm sorry, I clicked on it.
You have 1 slot remaining. I think you only used 1 spell today, so you have 2 left.
Yes, only sleep. Alright. I'd like to, okay, if I try and charm the dwarf that I've just blinded, and, will he
Why?
think I'm his friendly acquaintance?
No.
Okay.
I think he's too scared to do much of anything. And he's also
Okay.
blinded.
Okay, so are any of them paying any attention to Arbo?
No, the ones that are on the floor are like rubbing their butts.
Okay, I'm going to
Everybody
cast.
on the floor.
I'm going to cast Disguise Self on myself. That's what I actually can do with it.
About
Make
time.
Make myself look like a dwarf, and then start shouting the same kind of anti-establishment rhetoric I wrote on the map, on the fake plan.
Yeah.
Deception, please. Let me explain exactly how they feel about this. This is the equivalent. And if you walk into like the Auschwitz Museum and you just start saying Heil Hitler, is the effective equivalent of what just happened to these dwarves.
Into what museum?
Also, you tripped a Jew that was there.
Auschwitz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
These guys are pissed.
Okay. I basically shout sharp. Run. I basically whisper, "Run away," and then I prepare to cast the sleep on the fallen dwarves.
Yep. And then we run away.
Yes.
At least Arbo runs away.
Roll me your sleep dice for sleep.
First I make sure that Arbo is out of the area of effect.
Okay. You wait a little bit.
Well, yeah, Arbo's running.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Big heck. Yeah, they're all asleep.
So basically the effect is Hitler sang them the lullaby. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous.
This is yeah.
Bad day for dwarves.
Today is not a day that's gonna go into the history books on a good note. Let's just put it lightly.
And
Yes, yes, and also as we run away, I kind of prod up and basically tell them about the revolution. Tell them that you are hidden somewhere on the map.
well, I guess that would have been part of the whole thing. I was.
What say you, Game Master?
What
Just
about the map?
Basically, Vumis wants to ask Arpo to make the dwarves search for a rebel somewhere within their city, maybe even rebels.
How do you intend to do that?
By prodding Apo and telling him that. If you mean roomies.
I'm a little lost as to what exactly your battle plan is right now.
Our battle plan right now is to run away, and at the meantime, look it like it was one of their own.
Well, the map already did that, and the fact that someone basically looked like a dwarf and shouted at them.
More.
So you've done that
So,
much.
Yeah.
Where's the
All right.
drawback?
So yes, we run away, and I got a new spear.
Yep. You run away. You just book it out of there. You make it. You know, you're like out of range. Like they can't catch up. The dwarves. They're slower than you.
And they're asleep. Some of them.
Yeah. So they're not catching up.
Yep.
So you run all the way back up the tunnels.
I guess we could make a stop at some safe point and make up a trap, maybe.
You're a little bit up
I
the
basically go.
past the intersection. So do as you wish.
I go.
Ichki, can you make underwater traps?
Yes.
Do that.
You're not underwater though.
Yeah.
Hmm.
We're not.
Do you have
You
any?
can?
Do you
Yes,
have
I
any?
You
can.
make a trap that makes water?
Do you have any shaped charges?
No. I can blow something up and then flood the whole place, but
Hmm.
I don't even know where the nearest water reservoir is.
Vumis would like to listen around the walls a little bit, just on a log.
I'm not gonna flood our own settlement.
Well, we could
Aww.
aim it so that the. How about this? We set up a kind of explosive trap when they run up here, they step on it, it explodes, and water gushes their way.
Well, there's probably water directly above you because there's like stuff dripping from above.
Yes.
So you could do that.
So yeah. How about that? Some kind of motion trigger trap.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's Ichki who has the component pack, so.
Yep. You're free to try to build something, but considering your previous roles, I should probably handle it. Just tell me what you need me to do.
Okay. By the way, how is inspiration regained?
Beginning of the session, or by doing something that basically fucks everyone over with your flaw.
Okay. Have I done that?
No.
Oh.
So far, things have worked out just fine.
Okay. So I'll take up the trap supply bag and then try to construct a trap like that, or instruct each on how to do that. Yeah, explosive trap that floods that all the then send water
Yeah.
down the tunnel that was coming from. Trapology.
Yeah, you make a trap that you feel would achieve said objective quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
You hide the trigger.
I am.
Hard to see.
Yep. I'm proud of my trap.
Heck.
Yeah.
They should. Yeah, they should slow them down.
Most certainly.
Oh, and no, I was thinking about maybe scrolling some more anti-establishment graffiti on the wall, but
Kobolds,
Really
new dwarf rebels.
really spur them on.
Well, you can do that if you want.
Yes. Yes, something that really makes them charge forward without looking for traps.
Okay. You make a careful word selection, and you feel that if they read this, they're not even gonna care about the trap.
Yep.
Even as they drown, they'll just be too angry. Turn to steam.
Dwarf king is a smelly elf lover. I don't know.
Heck, that's super rude, man.
Also, his beard is fake.
How dare you?
Yes, that is an incredible. But it's basically like saying, that your car is a rotten horse, and you have a sports car, perfect one with counterclockwise rotating with contrary rotating rims, etc., etc. And it's a horse. It's a rotten horse. Look, I punch it and it falls and farts. It's kind of like this.
King is an elf in disguise.
It's also your hard bass is classical music. This is not true Slav style. Yeah, and like
A bunch of stuff, really.
yeah.
So you scribble and scrawl and make a fun thing out of it. You really let them have it.
Yep.
And with that,
Really lambasting the king.
yeah, you're giving him a ripe old what for, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you finish off your message and you feel like you're done.
I feel proud of whatever I have done here.
That has gone horribly so far. But at least we're all alive.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is not horribly. We weren't tasked to kill him. We were tasked to scare them away.
Yeah.
I think we accomplished something here today.
Something is the right word, yes.
Hopefully we have sown some discord among the dwarven population.
You've certainly caused a whole bunch of ruckus. Cheapers, man.
And Vumis has a bloodied spear
That he
in
does.
case anybody. Yes, that's basically his plan to have proof of encounters on himself. He even hugs the spear as they run away, so he himself has that little scarlet tint.
Don't run with the spears.
It's dangerous, man.
I mean, Vumis already has a bandolier full of daggers.
What could possibly
yeah.
go wrong?
I mean, he basically wraps them in the leather bandolier in a way they only gently scratch his scales.
You make it back to the barricade, who look a bit confused why there is a person looking like a dwarf and a regular kobold coming back.
Oh yeah.
They just kinda go, how'd it go?
Yes, Vumis with a visible expression of pain rips away the fake beard, drops it on the floor, and the fake beard immediately scurries into the nearest hole and then basically waves and says, "Hi!"
Should have kept it.
I'll drop my disguise.
Yes, and then Vumis also turns to the hole and says, "Thank you, beard. Come again."
We could have eaten that. Alright.
So what did you achieve?
Oh, we achieved lots.
I show them the bloodied spear.
That, and we also humiliated a squadron of dwarves. And we've also stolen their map, basically.
And we incited rebellion among their ranks.
Supposedly.
So
Potentially.
they just kind of scratch their head and go, "Why did you do that for?"
Well, you
Yeah, the
wanted
people
them
that went down
to...
there just went to kill some scouts, not to go all the way to the dwarf.
We killed some scouts, but we made them think they did that. They did this, not us.
Yes.
Yeah, attracting ire off a nearby dwarven city is probably not a very good idea. Because clearly this attack was unprovoked, if they can pinpoint it on us. They didn't die on the barricade during an attack, they died in their camp because we snuck in.
Mhm. Also, some books and maps.
We'll leave
Yes,
it up to
can we
us.
get... Can I get directions to the captain?
You know your way back from here.
Okay.
No need for
Well, maybe he's not there right now. Maybe he went elsewhere.
Could be. But then they wouldn't know either.
Well, maybe he's at home
Vumis-
sleeping or something. We just crush.
Okay,
Pressure.
Vumis would like to use his wisdom to estimate the level of shit they're about to get in right now, in a few minutes.
Go ahead.
Your wisdom is 12.
No, you're gonna be fine.
Yay!
Yep, we'll be given medals.
Or even metals.
Ooh.
Heroes.
I don't
of
think
kind.
kobolds. I don't think kobolds do metals.
They're gonna give us a pat on the back and more food.
So
I mean, look, if we're gonna start a revolution and overthrow the government of the Dwarven City, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get some kind of recognition, but it's probably not gonna be medals.
Yeah.
So yes, we head over to the captain, because probably this took like what, an hour or two, maybe.
this took a while, yes.
Yeah.
So you head up to where you know the captain generally hangs out.
Yes.
He's still there,
Yep.
kind of peering over the map. There's some other kobold guards who are like, "Well, I killed a couple of them in the caves, and they're never coming back. They're gonna think it's way too dangerous out there to come back."
Hello, Captain.
How many did you kill?
Potentially all of them, or half of them.
How?
By
I shall.
inciting the-
By sowing dissent and rebellion among their ranks, by forging the maps.
Vumis shows the spear and says, I killed the dwarf and made it look like they killed it.
Yeah, it probably doesn't look like a hammer wound.
Okay.
In any case, I'm gonna rip out the page from the book and hand it over with a drawn map on it. Here's the relevant, most recent map that we found.
So
Ah, yes.
The
And
captain just
translation
kinda-
books.
kind of rubs their forehead a bit. They're just like, "Oh, how with you guys?
I'm sorry, what?
Why did you do that? Why did you think that was the way to solve this problem?"
Well,
I'm just
we-
here for the
we-
ride.
Yes, Vumis doesn't have much intelligence, but he has wisdom. So Vumis kind of says,
Well, if we kill them all, then they'll think we did this, and then they will continue to attack us.
That's why the
But
plan
if
was
they
to
think
kill
they
the
kills
solitary
them-
scouts that were in the tunnels that wouldn't drag any attention if they happened to die.
Well,
So that they would
We-
give up on trying to you are...
yes. We we thought of the bigger picture.
I think you thought a little too big on the picture.
Arbo still smiling.
So he's pissed. On one hand, he can kind of see where you're coming from and see what you did, but on the other hand, he's like, this could work out terrible. This could have some serious ramifications. So he just kind of lets you off with like, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not giving you shit, but I'm also not giving you anything for your efforts.
Oh,
but
That's
Vumis,
good.
okay, before we leave, Vumis turns to the captain and says,
Your words are smart. I want to be smart like you. Can you tell me more about these tricks?
That's
So basically, Vumis wants to ask the captain if he can study some of that field and field smarts from him, or from anyone else.
All he's going to tell you is that field smarts aren't something that you're taught, it's something you learn by yourself.
But how did you learn it?
By myself.
You're so smart.
The same way as everyone else.
The Vumis basically beams a huge smile, so huge that his teeth are about to pop out. Basically says,
I'm gonna be as smart as you one day. Thank you.
That'd be
Thank
really
you
nice
for
if
your
you
words
did
of
that.
wisdom.
and basically he's so happy he bumps into one of the tables and drinks spill off the table and he basically goes and runs away.
He just rubs his face and goes, ah. You're not getting a call anytime soon. Ugh. So
yeah,
also-
this is not gonna look good on our curriculum vitae. It's not something we can put on our resume.
Well,
Well,
Well, unless it works
experience
out.
isn't always good.
Incited the Dwarven Civil War.
It's
Looks really
exactly, yeah.
yeah, that should stop them from coming our way anytime soon.
Then the music from Battle of West North is actually pretty appropriate if that ever happens.
So, that's where we'll leave it for today.
That's fair enough. Okay.
So yeah,
Actually, yes. All right, Fuse. Sapphire. Continue.
no, say. I just said so.
All right. I just basically meant to say that this was a pretty cool mission. I'd like more sneaky, non-killing missions like that in the future. To be honest, it probably wasn't intended as a sneaking and non-killing mission. But
That's kind of the impression that you get from the captain, yes.
Well, I'm trying to play my alignment that
Yep. Ugh.
so in
What else?
Discord.
and Vumis didn't want to kill him because he wanted them to fear us.
Hmm,
And after all, you cannot fear anything when you're dead.
that is some sound logic.
Well, I gotta figure out something for next time. This is going to be just great.
Next time, Kobold, Kapers, Gaiden, the actual Dwarven Rebellion. You
Oh.
are the Dwarven rebels in the non-rebellious Dwarven city, and suddenly somebody hears of your actions, even though you were perfectly clear. What do you do?
So, you got anything to add before I stop the stream?
Thank you all very much for listening, for watching, for being patient enough with our shit and especially my shit.
Could I use the translation book to learn Dwarfish?
You could learn a basic form of Dwarvish.
It'll probably take more than just a few days, but yes, if you keep practicing, probably.
You also all
Can I
get
use
300
my book
experience
as
points,
well?
by the way, for
Oh.
everything.
All
you
right,
gather.
300 experience points. That's 810.
Safi,
Yes.
can I use my book to also do the same?
Yeah.
How long will it take us to actually learn a proper Dwarvish
If you
language?
dedicate your studies to it, a couple of weeks will be enough to get like a basic understanding, like you'd know some key phrases.
Mm-hmm.
Vumis would like to learn Dwarvish curses. I assume that's a
stream over?
much easier thing to do.
Curses is just a matter of looking up the right words, yes.
Is the stream over, by the way?
Shutting it off.